FPS games remind me of a golden age of gaming, the classics like Modern Warfare 2 and Battlefield 3, but those times are long gone in today's world. Today we have Call of Duty Warzone, Battlefield 2042, and the existential dread of knowing that these games were massively rushed to try to meet deadlines so whoever's managing these games can make a quick buck. I personally haven't had a good FPS game experience in a long time, the last time being when I was 13 playing Black Ops 3 the same year it came out. Personally, I'm one of those chum who prefers this style of gameplay over the ultra-realistic boots on the ground CODs, but that's besides the point. Once you get past the glaring problems of these new FPS games, you're left with this ultra-realistic shooter where you have to predict every shot you take and take into account bullet drag, where your enemy might be coming next, and if you've gone into crippling debt just by taking a step in these games because the microtransactions are absolutely crazy. If you want to get into these games, you're either left with a massive paywall because you're going to want to play the latest title, or you're paying in the form of skins and customization. Why do you think so many 12-year-olds got mad when Fortnite went down when the Black Hole event happened, where their mothers were complaining that little Timmy hasn't gotten to use his boogie bomb in 5 minutes? This video should have been titled "No New Games Are Fun Anymore" because they're just meaningless cash grabs marketed for kids with the attention span of a goldfish. I recently beat Doom 2016, which I know is an older game, but it made me realize the kind of FPS games I'm more likely to enjoy. Ones where you're not thinking about bullet drag or where your bullets are going to land, but the ones where it almost seems like you're floating around and shooting on butter, where the guns seem so effortlessly to use and all you're worried about is trying to be the best on the leaderboard. Games like CSGO and unfortunately the dead Splitgate, I would say Doom multiplayer, but I think I'd have a better time trying to play Splitgate lobbies again. I recently tried Valorant, and let's just say that didn't go that great. The game had the same fluidness of CSGO, and I would go even to say that the same art design, albeit a little bit more futuristic and more heavy on character classes, but just like the op in CSGO, if you come across someone who's remotely good at getting headshots, what seems to be 95% of this game's player base, you're almost instantly dead. Splitgate has this too, but players are bad enough where you can still get some kills, and CSGO has weapons that can easily get kills, so it balances each other out. But let's move past these fluid shooters, as I'm going to call them, and move on to ultra-realistic shooter game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is probably the most success Call of Duty has had in a long time, but personally I could care less for it. The movement in this game feels so sluggish, and you're stuck doing research on which weapons the developers have decided they wanted to use this week. You could be playing just fine and then get randomly shot at and die, end up in the gulag, surprisingly make it out, and because the announcer will tell all enemy players near you that you've respawned, and even if one of them tries to, they'll be looking for you dropping in. Alright, it's obvious I'm just not a fan of these games, so let's try a game with a similar art style. Oh wait, it's just fucking Fortnite. I'm not talking about the Fortnite community because everyone has spoken about that to death, so I'm just not gonna bring it up. Fortnite has almost the same style of gameplay where you can move around pretty easily without any drag, but because you'll always run into one of those players who gets shot in the right pinky toe with a pistol and builds the Mall of America in milliseconds, if you're not so fluid with the building mechanic, you're at an extreme disadvantage because the enemy is surrounded in basically the equivalent of teleporting to the highest point in the map. All FPS games are either just too realistic or have so sweaty of players that almost makes any of them unplayable. I'll take that I'm just bad at Valorant, but I can't play tank movement warfare or 12-year-olds that don't have good grades. Yeah, you watch me complain about FPS games in a video, subscribe or I'll have Epic Games turn you into a microtransaction.